Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be talking to you about 9 show-stopping fragrances. So if you want to show up and show out, stay tuned because I think you're going to enjoy this review. 9 bangers. What is good, YouTube? Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikey Cologne, and if you're tuned in, as always people, thank you very much for doing so. It does mean a hell of a lot. I always say it, and the reason why is because I mean it. If you're new here and you're stopping by for the first time and you enjoy my content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, and it will notify you when I upload a video. If you like the video, press like. If you don't, still press the like button. Anyway, got that out of the way. Today I've got 9 great fragrances. To me, these are showstoppers. I've got some inexpensive fragrances, so there's something for everyone here. A few of them are unisex. There is some masculine leaning ones, but like I say, I thought to myself, I could have put all niche fragrances on this list. I didn't want to do that. Like I say, there is something for everyone, and as the review goes by, you will see. But first off, I'm starting with a fragrance with a massive name. It's from the house of Kayali, and it is Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli 64. What a name for a fragrance. This is a unisex fragrance, and man, to me, this smells so good. Let me just spray it. The bottle as well, look, it's stunning. But it is a fingerprint magnet, so you have to keep cleaning it. Or I do. I'm anal like that. If I pick up a bottle of mine and there is one fingerprint on it, I'm polishing it. It is as simple as that. Great atomizers as well, look, pressurised. Oh, I can smell it already. Right, you've got rum, jasmine, vanilla orchid, vanilla infusion, vanilla Sabsalot or Sabsalute, I don't know what that is, tonka bean, spice, rose, leather, creme brulee, sugared patchouli, musk, brown sugar, amber and royal oud. That is a big note breakdown, but from the note breakdown you can see that there is some sweet notes in there. You've got the sugar, you've got different types of vanilla. Oh, this opens sweet, warm. It is a little bit addictive. The rum, once the opening calms down, the rum comes in, but it is only a splashing of rum. Like, I would have liked a bit more of a boozy edge to this fragrance, but it is what it is. It still smells good. It's the vanilla comes in, you get the spice, the rose. To me, the jasmine, I think, it adds a little floral component. But this fragrance, it has a creamy side to it. So I think the jasmine, the vanilla orchid, I think all them notes sort of mixing in together, which adds or makes this fragrance go a little bit creamy. The patchouli throws some more sweetness in there. You got the amber, the royal oud, right? The oud literally is sitting way in the back. Like, if you don't like oud fragrances, you have nothing to worry about here. It just adds a little bit of structure, depth, a little bit of richness, a slight woodsy undertone. All in all, this is a sweet, addictive fragrance. The creme brulee comes across with the tonka bean. It adds a slight almondy aroma. So that's why I say this is a sweet fragrance, because there is a lot of sweetness going on with this. But to me, this is a showstopper. If you wear this and you walk into an environment where there's loads of people and they get a whiff of this, they're going to enjoy it. There is nothing off-putting. It has a little bit of a sexy edge to it as well. The way all the notes sort of blend together. Great fragrance, but this had to go on the list. And it's from the house of Kayali. Coming in next is Oud from the house of Aaron Terence Hughes. This is powerful. If you want to be noticed, try this fragrance. It smells so darn good. So darn good. So damn good. Let me just spray it. Right, you've got rose, sweet orange, date, raspberry, amber, Thai oud, Burmese oud, benzoin, patchouli, sandalwood, vanilla, and ethical ambergris. Straight out the gate, oud, rose. The rose is adding this fresh, slightly spicy, mossy quality up top, and then in comes the orange. The date comes in with the raspberry, adding this fruity sweetness which is sitting in the back, and to me that takes them fruity nuances, notes, take the edge off the oud, because this oud is smoky, ever so slightly animalic, and it sort of just tames that oud. So it's fresh, spicy, slightly fruity, smoky, a tad animalic. So there's a lot going on when this opens up. Once you get into the mid, you get the benzoin come through with the vanilla, and it adds a little bit of sweetness, a bit of warmth. This does go slightly earthy on my skin in the dry down, and I also get a salty quality that comes through on my skin. And I don't know if that's the ethical ambergris or if it's just the ouds mixing in together, but this fragrance does have a salty quality on my skin, ever so slightly. With Burmese oud and Thai oud, you would be thinking, man, that is going to be pungent. It isn't. It is smooth, and like I say, to me, them fruits tame the edges, and it just smells great. It really is a show-stopping fragrance. There is nothing. You have to enjoy oud to enjoy this fragrance, there's no doubt about it. But there's nothing barnyardy or fecal or something stanky. It's well crafted, well blended, smooth, and the fruits, it's a great touch, it really is. And that is oud from the House of Aaron Terence Hughes. Great scent. We've got an inexpensive fragrance. It is coming from the House of Maison Alhambra, and it is lovely sherry. Another unisex fragrance. It is unisex leaning feminine, but that don't matter. This thing just smells great. If you're rocking this, people are going to ask you what you're wearing, there's no doubt about it. These are cheap fragrances. I believe you can pick these up for about £22 in the UK. The 80ml bottles are the Parfum concentration. And yes, this is a clone of Lost Cherry from the House of Tom Ford. Let's just spray that. Right, you've got black cherry, cherry, liqueur, bitter almonds, griotti syrup, don't know what that is, Turkish rose, jasmine sambac, pearl balsam, tonka bean, sandalwood, vetiver, and cedar. Opens dark, syrupy, sweet. Straight away, I get this almond nutty quality which comes in. This isn't an overly complex fragrance. This is a cherry fragrance through and through. It opens dark, almondy, cherry, ever so slightly boozy, and I mean ever so slightly. And once it starts drying down, I do get a woodsy undertone, but this fragrance starts turning from like a light cherry liqueur to a cherry bakewell, if that makes sense. And this has got a gourmand edge to it, there's no doubt about it. And for the price that you can pick this up for, this is worth the money. If you haven't got a lot of money and you're on a budget and you enjoy cherry fragrances, get your paws on this, because you will not be disappointed. Some people will be like, it's a clone, this and that. It doesn't matter. This is why I'm doing this review and why I'm putting inexpensive ones in here, because some people haven't got the money to spend on £100, £200, £300 fragrances. People, if you're watching this, try this fragrance. £20. If you don't like it, I mean, it ain't a major loss, but I think you will enjoy it. Oh, it has this creamy nature to it as well. Great scent. Anyway, that has come from the House of Maize in Alhambra, and that is lovely sherry. Great scent. If you know about fragrances, if you collect fragrances, if you're into fragrances, you know about this scent. It is Ombre Lever from Tom Ford. Great fragrance, definitely a showstopper. This is a 100ml bottle. It is Eau de Parfum concentration. The atomizers could be better on these bottles, not gonna lie, but they get the job done. Right, you got cardamom, jasmine sambac, leather, patchouli, white moss, amber. It opens soft, spicy, warm, and then after a couple of minutes, this smoky quality comes in, which is coming from the leather. The jasmine sambac sort of gives this fragrance smooth edges, and once you start getting into the mid, this creamy nuance comes in, which I think is coming from the jasmine sambac. As this dries down more and more, the patchouli starts going a little bit woodsy on my skin. The amber adds a little bit of a warm sweetness. It's like, this isn't a sweet fragrance at all. Semi-sweet, yes, but that amber just warms things up a little bit and just pushes a touch of sweetness into the fragrance. This smells great. It is masculine and it is a little bit more on the expensive side, yes, but even if you can get your hands on the 50ml of this, it is worth it. If you're dressed up and you're going to an event, wedding, party, you're going out and it's cooler outside and you're rocking this, people will notice you. There's no doubt about it. And I had to put it on the list, and it is Ombre Lever from the House of Tom Ford. This fragrance that I'm going to talk to you about next is one of the biggest bang for buck fragrances you could ever pick up. It is Assad from the House of Lattafa. This is a very close, inspired by a version of Dior Sauvage Elixir. And the note breakdown that I'm going to read you makes no sense at all. So don't take any notes of it, but I am going to read it. This is the notes for this fragrance. You got black pepper, pineapple, tobacco, patchouli, coffee, iris, vanilla, amber, benzoin, dry woods and labdanum. For starters, I get a big dose of lavender up top in this fragrance. Let me just spray it. I think you can pick this up for about £25 in the UK. It is a 100ml bottle, Eau de Parfum concentration. And like I say, it is very close to Dior Sauvage Elixir. And that scent is quite expensive. So this opens up fresh, spicy, and you do get a big dose of lavender. I can pick it up. I get cinnamon. I think the black pepper stands. Once the opening calms down, this is the sweetest when it gets into the mid. I do get touches of amber and vanilla, but on my skin, the vanilla shines more than what the amber does. This does have a woodsy undertone, and I can also detect ambroxan in this fragrance. And then when you get into the dry down, this does have a sweet, earthy side to it. So I think the patchouli stands, but the pineapple, the tobacco, but them notes and the coffee, they make no sense at all. But this is a great smelling fragrance. Masculine, no doubt about it. Like I say, it is close to Dior Sauvage Elixir. Yes, the quality is better with Dior Sauvage Elixir. It's gonna be, because that is a more expensive fragrance. But this still is a quality scent. There's nothing rough, there's nothing off-putting. You don't get no alcohol blast. And this thing, you get 7 to 9 hours longevity. Great scent, is a showstopper. If you're going to a formal event, wedding, going out again, going out for drinks with the lads, and you want to smell smart, get yourself a bottle of this. For the price, it is worth it and some. And that is Assad from the House of Latafa. If you enjoy boozy fragrances, you will appreciate this scent. It is Pavilion Rouge from the House of Javoy. This is a stunning fragrance, one of my favourites. And this is what you call a showstopper. Solid weighty metal cap, great looking bottle. Let's just spray this and I'll read you the notes and we'll get into it. Right, you've got spices, whiskey, rum, sesame, tobacco, leather, coffee, tea, ebony wood, benzoin and vanilla. Spicy, boozy, woodsy. After a couple of minutes, that leather and tobacco come in, which adds this smoky ruggedness. Smooth, but it adds like this masculine vibe to the fragrance. It pushes it, gives it some oomph. When it dries down a little bit more, that ebony wood sort of amps up a little bit, so it goes a little bit more woodsy. The vanilla comes in, adds in some sweet touches. On the late dry down, this fragrance does go a little bit bitter. Not in a bad way, but I think that's the coffee. And you do get a slight balsamic sweetness and warmth coming. This is a great scent. If you're dressed up to the nines, you're in a suit and tie, or you're just looking smart in a waistcoat and you're going out and it is cooler outside and you're rocking this, people will notice you. They're going to ask you, what are you wearing? You smell good. It smells like you've downed half a bottle of whiskey, but you smell good. But all in all, this is a great scent. It really is. I get about 7 hours longevity. It's quite loud in the first hour and it starts to sit closer to the skin as the hours go by with all fragrances. This is a great scent. It really is. Like I say, one of my favourites, and this is a showstopper. That is Pavilion Rouge from the House of Javoy. Get a tester of this, people. You will love it. This fragrance coming up next is Blessed Baraka from the House of Initio, Perfumes Privé. This has a love or hate relationship. Like, obviously I've seen some of the reviews on Fragrantica and some people say this smells synthetic, some people say they love it. To me, I love this fragrance. I know it's an expensive scent, but man, this is seduction in a bottle for me. It really is. Great presentation, looks lovely on a shelf. Let me just spray this and I'll read you the notes. This is not a complex scent, it really isn't. But when you're wearing this, it garners compliments. You've got sandalwood, musk, vanilla, amber and white blossom. To me, this opens sweet, warm and a little bit boozy. And there's no sort of boozy notes listed in the note breakdown. But it has got this boozy sweetness to it alongside musk. And once the opening calms down, the creamy sandalwood comes in, you get vanillic touches, the amber adds warmth, adds some more sweetness. The white blossom, to me, or the white florals, sort of smooths the edges, but adds a little bit of a heady edge to it. Oh, it does smell good. This, to me, this is a showstopper. That is why it's on the list. This thing projects. This lasts on me. Some of the reviews, and I don't take, like, sometimes I read them on some fragrances and sometimes I don't, because you can take them with a pinch of salt, like you could take this with a pinch of salt. But some people are saying that this don't last on their skin. I get great longevity with this, and I get a couple of hours of solid projection. Like, this thing pushes off my skin, especially when you're a little bit warmed up. It just radiates. And I've had loads of compliments with this fragrance. I've never had a negative compliment with this fragrance. Every time people are like, what are you wearing? You smell good. Damn, that is a great scent. What are you wearing? And it is this fragrance. No one said to me it smells cheap, it smells synthetic. Great smelling fragrance. And that is Blessed Baraka from the House of Initio. Get yourself a sample. Coming up next is another inexpensive fragrance, and if you've been following me for a minute, you know that I'll speak highly of this. This smells very similar to Rosondo Mateo number 5, and it is Shaq AlSharaka Gold from the House of the Taffa. What a fragrance this is. If you can get your hands on this, buy it. Seriously, it is that good. I know the presentation is out there a little bit, but man, the juice inside, this is a very, very pleasing scent. You got caramel, saffron, leather, suede, tonka bean, vanilla, amber and musk. This does open with this plasticky, rubbery nuance, and that dissipates in a couple of minutes. But while that's calming down, you get soft spice up top. It is semi-sweet, a little bit warm. You get this almondy facet that's there coming from the tonka bean. Once the opening calms down, that rubbery plastic dissipates. You start getting touches of that vanilla, the amber, the musk adds a soft edge to this fragrance. You get caramel in a very small dose, which yet again adds more sweetness into the fragrance. The leather and suede in this is very, very smooth, like it's sitting in the back and it just glides through the life of the fragrance, but it's nothing off-putting. Smooth suede and leather. All in all, this is a great scent. If you're gonna be put off by me saying that this has a plastic rubbery nuance when it first opens up, don't, because it is part of the fragrance. It really is a great scent. Anyway, this is a showstopper in my opinion, and it is Shaq AlSharaka Gold from the House of the Taffa. Stunner. We have come to the end. We are at number 9, and this, just go out and blind buy it. No, I would never suggest that, but seriously, this scent, this is one of the, or it's up there with some of the best releases of 2023 so far. It is Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir Parfum. What a scent this is. Powerful. You get your money's worth with this fragrance. You've got lavender, mint, vanilla, benzoin, honey, tonka bean and tobacco. Sweet, warm. You get the lavender and the mint. It adds this aromatic side to the fragrance. You wouldn't think it would work, but it does. It adds some well-needed freshness. Like, if there wasn't that lavender and mint in this, I think this would be full-on sweet, and I think it might become a little bit too much. So it opens fresh, but warm and sweet. A little bit aromatic. Once you get into the middle of the fragrance, once the opening calms down, the honey starts coming through more. Some sweetness comes with it. The tobacco in this is very light, like it is sitting way in the back. So if you don't enjoy tobacco fragrances, you have nothing to worry about here. You get it a little bit, but everything else overshadows that tobacco note. The tonka bean adds more sweetness. As the fragrance dries down, it warms up more, it sweetens up a little bit more. The aromatics do stay there, but they just calm right down. Showstopper. It is a great scent, and the longevity on this is crazy. On my skin, I'm getting 10, 11 hours. I can spray this. When I was testing this fragrance, I put a couple of sprays on one arm before bed. I've done this a few nights in a row. About 9 o'clock, and then the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning, I could still detect this fragrance on my skin. On clothes, it is on there for days. But anyway, this is a stunner of a fragrance. Right, people, they are 9 show-stopping fragrances in my opinion. Like I say, some expensive, no, some more expensive fragrances, some inexpensive fragrances, some fragrance sort of in the middle of the line there when it comes to price. Great selection. If you've tried any of these, let me know which ones you've tried, or if you own them, let me know which ones you dislike. Let me know which ones you like. Drop a comment down below, people. I will always get back to you. I appreciate everybody who is watching this. Remember, smelling good's always a pleasure and never a chore. And I will see you lot on the next one. Cheers.